How's it going, Cross Church? Hope your week is going well so far. Whatever day you're watching this, I was going to say happy Monday to you, but who knows when you're watching this. So, hope your week's going well. I want to just remind you that it is just a great time to be a part of our church. We have made one of the biggest or the biggest decision in our church's history to move forward with this building project, and we're going to need your help doing that. And I hope that you will still consider what you might do to help us reach that $250,000 threshold that we need to get to secure the funding through the bank. So don't forget to pray and consider what you might do as individually or as a family to help us get there. And I hope that you're excited. It's great to see the plans out in front of the church and just know of the things to come. And it's just a great time to be a part of our growing church, and a church that's is looking forward to serving as future members as well. So just a great time to be a part of the church. Guys, I'm terrible with names. I'm horrible at it. Sometimes I'll shake your hand or shake someone's hand at church, whether or it might be at work, and I'll shake their hand, never met them before, and then I will immediately forget what their name is. I was coaching a kid last year at Christian Heritage, and his name was Cal. And for the first 2 or 3 weeks that I coached him, I was calling him Cam, and he never would answer me. And I, kind of for a little while, I thought this kid had an issue with me, but he wasn't responding to me because he wasn't answering me. And so I'm so bad with names, and I don't really know why that is. Some people's names I remember easily, but sometimes it's just something I really struggle with. And a funny name story I've got is there's a group of guys that we go on these OU trips, these away games for football. And we've been all over the country, basically to every Big 12 school that you can think of. And the nights before the games, we would always go out to a local establishment and just hang out and spend time with other OU fans and obviously fans of the other team. And sometimes we would pretend to be like a brother of a famous Sooner great. Like I would pretend that I was Bob Stoops' brother, Rob Stoops, or one of our older guys would be Larry Switzer, who was the second cousin to Barry Switzer. Or we had a guy that was Rusty Dvorak. He was the younger brother of Dusty Dvorak. And we would do like just you can all the different names you think of. We came up with. It was just hilarious, and people were like believed us. And whether it was OU fans that were there or Kansas State fans or wherever we were at, they would believe us, and they were kind of in awe because if they knew who those people were, Barry Switzer or Bob Stoops, and they actually thought we were family to them, they would think it's pretty awesome, right? Because names mean something. And the reason they mean something is because a lot of times people know what's in a name and what that name represents and what that name has maybe accomplished in this life. And one of the things that's great about our name, right, is that God knows our name, right? He does not forget our name. It's not lost in the shuffle. He knows our name, and he knew our name before we were even born. And in Isaiah chapter 43, verse 1, it says, I have summoned you by name. You are mine. And Jesus says in chapter 10 of John, verse 3, I know my sheep. I call them by name. And one of the greatest verses, I think, is in Luke chapter 12, verse 7. It says, even the hairs on your head are numbered. So God not only knows our name, right? But the hairs on our head are numbered. Think about that for a second. It's something that our brains can't even just wrap our minds around. It's just something that we can't even understand. Now, the crazy thing about this is there are 8.2 billion people in the world, right? Billion. And the other day I was watching I don't even remember what it was on Twitter or X, whatever you call it now, but this guy was just basically asking these other guys that he was talking to. He said, how many days is a million seconds? And no one knew the answer. And they were throwing out these weird answers, and they were all wrong. But a million seconds is 11 days, right? Okay. Well, then the guy's like, well, how many days is a billion seconds? And the guy was like, no one knew the answer to that. And they were throwing all these weird numbers out there. And a billion seconds is 31 years. Okay. So there are 8.2 billion people in the world, and God knows every one of their names. And even the hairs on their head are individually numbered. How great is that? Now, a study I was doing last week, it just kind of reminded me of all this. And I was reading Revelation chapter 2, verse 17. And John says, anyone with ears to hear must listen to the Spirit and understand what he is saying to the churches. To everyone who is victorious, I will give some of the manna that has been hidden away in heaven. And I will give to each one a white stone, and on that stone will be engraved a new name that no one understands except the one who receives it. So not only do we have a name right now that God knows, once we finish the race, good and faithful servant, you finish the race, you're going to get a new name that only you and God will know. How awesome will that be? So the next time that you're feeling down, you're feeling that God's forgotten, you know that he knows your name, your hairs on your head are numbered, and once you finish the race, you will have a new name. Just like all the great people in the Bible, their identity changed and they had to get a new name. You think about Abraham and Sarah, and you think about Jacob, and you think about Simon Peter. All those guys got new names because their identity changed. Everything about them changed. And that's exactly what's going to happen to us when we get to heaven. Everything about us is going to be different. And so we're going to have a new name. So I hope this message lands well for you today. And I hope that I can start remembering names better. There's probably people watching this. I have no idea what your name is, but I intend to learn it. But have a great week, guys. Hope to see you on Wednesday. Just take care and God bless. Thank you.